the words of Martin Luther King Jr., humankind has advanced technologically to conquer outer space, but humankind has not had the moral commitment to conquer their inner space. Cultural proficiency theorists tell us that creating a culturally proficient school or district requires culturally courageous leadership, so the values, actions, and voice of the principal are paramount to an inclusive school. What specific actions can the school leader initiate and maintain to ensure inclusivity and to deepen understanding of its importance and how it directly impacts student achievement?
Yesterday, I had the opportunity of visiting one of our schools, and I had a conversation with a young man, and I said to him, what do you think as leaders in our school systems, what can we do to make sure that more and more students meet with success? And he said to me, just do it, man. Stop talking about it. I would challenge you that when you go back to your system, the question should be, what does a school look like? If I were to visit one of your schools, what would I see? What practices would be there to convey to me that this is an environment where we truly believe that every single child in that building as an opportunity to meet with success?
So how do we grant the student's wish and just do it? Where do we begin? In Jim Ryan's view, leadership is inclusive both in its nature and the ends for which it strives. Unlike many perspectives on leadership that see it in terms of gifted or powerful individuals, this view conceives of leadership as a communal process, one in which all members of school communities are involved or represented in equitable ways. The process itself is inclusive in that everyone has a right to contribute. The ends for which it strives are also inclusive.
A culturally proficient leader is one who takes responsibility for one's own learning, has vision for what a school can be, effectively shares the vision with others, assesses one's own assumptions and beliefs, and understands the structural and organic nature of schools. In our board, that goal is supporting teachers to improve student achievement and success through assessment-based and differentiated instruction to meet the needs of all learners by successfully engaging community in that shared goal and doing so in a safe and respectful learning environment. We have to know where we are in order to know where we need to go. We see where we can continue our work towards greatness with the recognition that there is no complete or essential knowledge, but rather a continuum of growing complexity that brings us to understand diversity, whether visible or invisible, in our schools.
I do, though, want to push us on challenging ourselves. We spent the last year at every Family of Schools meeting devoting time to saying things, to actually saying them that were uncomfortable for us. We have to get down to the very grassroots about ourselves before we can really be comfortable enough to deal with things in the way that you obviously are at your schools. That's hard work for all of us, and there's a level of self-awareness and honesty that comes from deep work, but it takes time.
The journey begins with challenging our own personal beliefs and values.
What do we do that contributes to the injustice of someone else? And we got to have a conversation with ourselves about the way we were raised, the way we were educated, the traditions and values and beliefs that we hold, the traditions that we're going to perpetuate. Some of them we're going to have to plow under, not necessarily for our own sakes, but for the children that follow us. Because what we leave them, they're born into our tradition, what we give them. So literally the hard work is at the level of challenging the beliefs. That's the hard work. That's where the real work is. Because once you get that in line, the rest will follow.
Changing the structures will not change your belief. Changing your belief will change structures, because our actions only come out of the belief. Our jobs as leaders is to help children and teachers to believe in themselves and what they can do. If teachers don't believe that they are capable, then they're not. High or low expectations, they'll rise or fall to them. When you engage in conversations around racism, sexism, ageism, homophobia, you name it, you come to the conversation in a reciprocal manner, not power over. So your titles mean nothing. We want you to engage in a conversation with one another, human being to human being, spirit to spirit.